A mandroid, part man and part machine, seeks revenge on the evil scientist who created him, enlisting the help of a beautiful woman and a mysterious ninja. Boo, boo, boo. That's the kind of sound that happens in that bit. He pursues the scientist in hopes of stopping him before he can further harm humanity. Notice there is no mention of the mercenary in that. Mandroid, mercenary, scientist, ninja, each one a specialist. Together they are Eliminators. Now this here is the sort of computer game version. No one in the film looks like any of this. Yet, this is the variant cover. I can see why. I'm guessing this was concept. This, I do not accept this as a cover for anything unless it's digitized, depixelates, and forms the word Sega. However, the one that you are all most you will be familiar with because you're bloody watching this. Welcome, of course, because I went for the cold opening. So suddenly flashback, and welcome to episode 3 of My Mum Said I Could Watch It. This cover right here. Yeah. Oh, where did my daddy go? Now that is the one that was in the video shop. That was the one on the big box. As I saw it there, sort of spine out, ready for me to borrow. That's the cover we all know and love. 1986, ladies and gentlemen. I was 10. I understand that this film, everything I can see, it was a PG. For the DVD, it's 12. I do believe that is most likely to do with the pause capabilities of DVD, which we will address. But yeah, no memory. Absolutely no memory. I knew I'd seen the film. No memory of any of it except for Mandroid looks awesome. Still does. And it had something to do with time travel. Everything else had gone. I knew those characters, but to be honest, that poster, that image, and having watched the trailer a number of times, I don't know how much of that was me remembering, the sewer rats, the ninjas, the mandroid elements of it. And how much of it was me having watched that, because when I watched this film, there's so much in it blew my mind. I didn't remember How can you not remember cavemen? How can you not remember cavemen? I didn't remember. I did remember it's Denise Crosby. I didn't remember how often she would fall in water. 10. It's really not going to register. So let's start with the beginning of the film. Mandroid intro, incidentally. I'm skipping about. Is this film any good? I'm embarrassed to say this. Yes, I genuinely enjoyed this film. It's nothing original in it. Arguably, maybe original in its time of 1986. Maybe. But in terms of storytelling and what is actually happening with the good guys and the bad guys, it is, on a storytelling level, and in terms of action, consequence, and character, on a par with mid-tier superhero films. I saw Black Adam a few weeks ago, and I would say this story made more sense. It was superior to Suicide Squad, the first Suicide Squad. Yes, I would say it's on a par with the second Suicide Squad. I would say that this is something, given its runtime, does kick the Thor: The Dark World's bum. No, it's no Ragnarok, but it's not meant to be. In fact, I'm just double checking. The runtime itself was something like 88 minutes. Hence why it's 88 films that released it out. No extras. For the price hike, you do get to realise that the trailer reel shows you that Stuart Gordon and Jeffrey Combs were very much the JLG and Jean-Paul Belmondo of the studio. But I want to talk just a few brief points, and then we'll be out in 10. And then, hey, find the film if you can. It's not worth 30. It really needed a special edition to legitimize that price to me. But things being as they are, you might be able to find it £10 or whatever. Yes, it is worth £10, and it is genuinely worth your time, because the opening 10 sequence is the Mandroid is just having flashbacks. So you have this real sepia montage, very much like Buck Rogers. It does not waste any time with origin. Think of the Incredible Hulk, right? We all know what you've signed up for. It gets to where it needs to be within 10 minutes. You've got the Avengers already forming. Okay, Mandroid is having flashbacks. You realise he's just come back from a time journey. He's come back from the past. Well, not back to the future. Back from the past. He's brought back a Centurion shield to prove that he's been back to Roman times. You have good scientist, Kataka. You have bad scientist, Beard. And bad scientist says, kill the Mandroid. Good scientist goes, no, I'm going to do very dubious East Asian rolling R accents that Rob is never going to be trying to put on a context like this. Sorry for you lazy racists. Helps Mandroid escape to go and find a scientist. That's basically, it's the beginning of the Avengers. He has this bizarre Buck Rogers Iron Man thing going on. And yes, it is the Batman utility belt, and everything is built into Mandroid. Fine scientist happens to be incredibly dynamic blonde Denise Crosby, who we all know as Tasha Yar. So I'm just going to call Tasha Yar. Tasha Yar and the Mandroid. And of course, what would this be without a quirky comic robot? Spot. I don't think even Spot really stood for anything. He just becomes a laser Spot because he goes and spots stuff. Brilliant. You know what? Brilliant. Cute as hell. Brilliant. In fact, the best special effect is that because they can't make Spot fly, they just stick him on Mandroid's shoulder like where War Machine's gun would be. Boom. That's it. He's flying behind Mandroid. You just see the rod there. I don't care. I'm 10. As they go and recruit other people and then fight the big bad scientist. So this is all off the island, and they're trying to find their way back to the evil scientist lair. They meet up with the Surat Hunter. Harry Fontana. She's called Hunter, but she's really Tasha Yar. Harry Fontana. Now, this is the bit where I go, you know what? I know I couldn't remember this film. There is a character in this film, Bio Betty. Tasha Yar walks into a bar and says, I need the toughest person to take me to try and find this place. Harry Fontana hides. Bio Betty beats up everyone in the room. She's the only woman in the bar. I'm not saying now that things are coded, but she had flannel shirts, a very butch demeanor, and I'm not saying that she was just a Scottish accent away from owning a caravan, but I genuinely would, for things that I'm going to reveal now, would have rather seen Bio Betty and all these other characters instead of Harry Fontana, because Harry Fontana's done. In 1986, Harry Fontana was done. We'd already seen that in other films. We haven't seen the scientist in this way. She's not just, I do brains and stuff. She actually fixes stuff throughout the entire... In fact, there's a point where Harry's boat breaks down. He doesn't know how to fix it. She does. Right? What becomes very apparent is how obsolete, even within this film, Harry is, which may be a comment, that kind of Big Trouble in Little China comment, but at the same time, what would have been pushing that bit more was if they had gone with Bio Betty as a sort of anti-hero rather than making her one of the minor villain comic cronies. They get going. Mandroid falls off the boat. He's able to blow up everything. He's able to calculate anything. He falls off the boat because it gets a bit bumpy. And much like Assassin's Creed, he's got all these superpowers, little bit of water. That's it. They write him off as dead within moments. Moments. Fortunately, he survives and meets up with Koji. Now, Koji is a ninja and obviously the son of the scientist who'd helped him escape and then died. The bottom line is, Koji does all the amazing work. I am gutted by the fact that we don't have the Koji Mandroid fight of like stereotypical Eastern mysticism versus Occidental hyper-tech Americana before they team up. He just goes, yeah, I know the man who killed your dad. Shall we go do that then? He goes, oh yeah, okay, you and your funky robot. Yeah, I'll absolutely do what you say. Koji though, again, why Harry Fontana? Just get rid of him. At least have Bio Betty. She was good with a shotgun. But Harry Fontana is just the most pointless creature in this whole film. Yes, I did say that. Right? Tasha Yar fixes stuff. Mandroid is a goddamn Mandroid. Koji, not only is he a kick-ass martial artist, he is able to jump through there's a moment of spinning blades which they need to stop. He is able to center himself. He's done more with his time than just like paint fences. I totally assure you in this. Jumps through them, breaks the alarm, stops this fan from killing everybody. Harry Fontana just goes, oh, that's cool. All he is, maybe he's the go-to of a guy in the 80s who is my age now, back then going, yeah, he's cool. Oh, look, because there is the simple fact that Tasha Yar often gets her t-shirt wet and then has to change. There are scenes of side boob in this, probably why it's a 12. And Harry Fontana just is going to go, oh, it'd be nice to have a snug though. I see a side boob. Right. Not saying that's not how it would be. I'm just saying I don't need to see it in a goddamn movie. They meet the bad guy. And the bad guy at this point, it has totally just admitted that it's a comic book. There's cartoon lightning strikes. There's nightmare cavemen brides. All on the way to meet this guy. Who's now dressed up like, who will, those of you, Iron Lad. And it turns out he wants to go, basically he's Kang. If you know the Marvel Comics origin of Kang, beyond Quantumania, the guy has become Kang. He has decided he wants to be Kang. Go back in time and become the Emperor. Spoiler alert, in all of this going on, one of them dies. Mandroid dies. Mandroid actually dies. The bad guy wins, is able to go back in time. The only thing that Harry Fontana does is when the guy goes back in time, he punches a keyboard, which then breaks the timeline. Just that, his random violence. Harry Fontana's legitimate mediocrity for over an hour, close to an hour and a half of this film, legitimizes all of his eye-rolling, snark, casual bigotry, lechery with just one-punch vandalism that means we've got to forgive all of this ineptitude. And everyone hugs and high-fives and stuff. And that could technically be the beginning of a team. It's really done well. It knows exactly what it is. Aside from that, it's like something out of a comic book line, which in 1986 wasn't too bad. Genuinely has a thread of what's going on. Mandroid's actor, given that half of his face is covered, is genuinely able to get tension and emotion out of there. Nothing they do is... It stretches credulity, never breaks credulity. Never breaks credulity. Whatever the Mandroid is able to pull out, you go, yeah, he might have had that built in. Whatever ninja skill Koji uses, you go, I've seen a variation of that on the Paul Daniels show. That may happen. And whatever Harry Fontana does, you go, yep, even that kind of privilege is not limited to an economic bracket. So everything there is true. Harry Fontana's probably going to make America great again. That's what I'm saying. any chance to see it, I totally recommend it. I really thought I'd have to come up with some wryness or some sort of meta narrative for a film that is based on a comic book that doesn't exist. PG film. I enjoyed it at the time, and I would say, given the film has a beginning and a middle and an end. There is no post-credit stinger. You're not expected to have spent 2 hours being introduced to each of them individually. It does the Avengers in the first 15 minutes. Totally worth a watch.